Thank you for watching. Today we are going to talk about what things you can check for when you lose power to your outlets. This past week I lost power to 5 outlets out of the 8 outlets I have in this RV. The only outlets I had working were the ones in the bathroom, the one above the kitchen sink, and the one that the microwave is plugged into. I lost power to everything else. Completely unexpected. I was just sitting here watching TV and then complete shut off. TV shut off. First thing, of course, I would do is check the circuit breakers, right? Check the circuit breakers, nothing popped. But I went on ahead and reset that. Didn't do anything. Went outside, shut the shore power off, thinking that might help to reset. Turned that back on, came inside, again, nothing. But at least I had, well, 3, but 2 working outlets. I could have my coffee in the morning, and I can have one of my little heaters going on. So let me tell you, I have a TV, a satellite receiver, a little ceramic heater, actually 2 ceramic heaters plugged into 2 separate plugs that I keep on low, and a TV in the bedroom, and then another plug where I charge my phone and that stuff. All of that gone. So what I then did was I tried calling a mobile handy repairman, and he was nice enough. He called me back and had said before coming out to go on ahead and try calling Forest River, see if they can help. Otherwise, he'd be more than happy to come out, but to talk to them to see if there was something. Let me back it up. Reset that GFI plug. That didn't do anything either, because those plugs are only for the bathroom and the kitchen and the microwave. So got a hold of Forest River, and they had told me to check the wires and that connect to the switches and the circuit breaker panel, circuit breaker box. So I went in there. It felt like there were a couple loose wires, so I pushed all the wires that I could find, like make sure those were in good and tight. Flip the breakers. Ah, I got power again. So I'm thinking this is fantastic. That's all I needed to do. Call the manufacturer, which I had no clue that that's something you can do. This is a 2006 model, but they were so helpful to call them. So guess what? It worked for one day. Next day, got up. I was getting ready to take Matai outside. Everything shut off again. So I'm thinking, I know right what to do. Go right to that circuit breaker panel box, check the wires, everything was in there. I flipped the breakers, I flipped the shore power, nothing came on. And my heart just sank, because now I'm right back to square one. Called Forest River again and waited for a call back. In the meantime, I had also called another handyman, RV handyman repairman, because the first guy never called me back after leaving 2 messages. So set up an appointment for this other handyman to come out. And long story short, after explaining to him what I did on the phone, all along I kept thinking it's got to be something simple. It has to be something simple. All along, he came in within 20 minutes, fixed what he did, and I'm going to show you guys here in a few minutes. He went straight to that circuit breaker. What I did not check were the wires. I guess there's neutral wires, so I'm learning this, right? One of the neutral wires had come loose, and it was actually starting to burn because it was touching another wire. So what he did was he tightened those screws where those neutral wires are at, repositioned, moved back that other neutral wire, and power. We are in business. So to make this easy, I know this is a longer video, but if you lose power to outlets, I was looking all over online trying to find things that I can do, but I couldn't find anything. So I hope this helps somebody out there. If you lose power to your outlets, absolutely check your GFI plug. This RV only has one, and that's in the bathroom. That did not do anything. Check your circuit breakers. Make sure none of those popped. I tried resetting through the shore power. That didn't do anything. But check all of those wires. I had done half the work had I had known the rest of it, but I'm so thankful that that handyman came out, because I wouldn't have known about neutral wires and that last step to look to make sure everything is on there. So I'm going to show that to you. Make sure all of those are tightened. Make sure no other wires are touching anything in there. And that should get you back in business. All right, guys, so my circuit breaker panel is right underneath the bed in the bedroom. And just to show you, in case you didn't know, if you were like me, brand new, this one has a total of 2, 4, 6 breakers in here on 3 of these bigger plugs. These are what you're going to want to make sure if your power shuts off, but to make sure that these are reset, to flip them. Now, to get to where I was talking about the wires is behind this. So I'm going to unscrew this and I'll show you more. All right, welcome to behind the magic of my circuit breaker box. Now, what Forest River had told me to do is to check to make sure all of these wires are into this good and tight. So when I originally did it, that's what I did. Everything was fantastic, locked it back up, good to go. When it went back out again, that was the first thing I did. I checked these wires. I also checked these caps to make sure every single one, I was following them around, that every single one of them was on good and tight. What I failed to check were all of these white wires. These were the neutral wires, and some of these screws had come loose, and you can see where there's that brown mark on there. That was the neutral one that was touching the one right next to it. You can see, oh, sorry, right in there. That one, this one right here, was touching the wire next to it, and you can see the burn marks on it. So these top screws, make sure those are good and tight. Make sure all of these white wires are plugged in and nothing is touching each other. Once those were attached, power. Beautiful thing. Power to all outlets. So just to sum everything up, check all of those wires. If you find yourself that you've lost power to some of your outlets, or maybe all of them, check your breakers, check your GFI plug. I think it doesn't hurt to try to reset the shore power. If none of that works, unscrew that circuit breaker panel, get to the back of it with the power off. Make sure you shut that shore power off, and make sure all of those wires are plugged into the toggle switches. There's screws on there to make sure that they're tight, because you're in an RV or a trailer, that thing bounces around and these wires come loose. But also check those neutral wires, those white wires that go to the top. That was the one thing I did not know or did not realize to check. Make sure all of those are screwed in tight, and make sure no wires are touching each other. Once you get all of that, hopefully you should be back in business. I just had visions of spending thousands of dollars of having to rewire this RV, and thank goodness we didn't have to. So I hope this video helps you and helps save you some money of the cost of having a handyman come out. I did it, and I was very thankful for it because I learned something. So as long as you can take away something, as long as the price is reasonable and you can take something away from it and learn from it, then you can pass that on. So anyways, you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll catch you next time. Mahalo.